Welcome to First Person Defender. Real people put into realistic self-defense training scenarios.
These are real scenarios.
Hey, give me your money.
The role player does not know what's going to happen. We go through the first scenario, see how they handle it, and then we pick one thing that they could have done to increase their survivability. Train it a little bit, and then run them through a similar scenario.
Each weapon is loaded with Simunition FX marking cartridges, the most realistic, non-lethal alternative to live ammunition. Simunition is the closest thing to the real deal.
Once you feel the pain penalty once, you don't want to feel it again.
For this type of force-on-force training, role players are required to wear protective gear.
Come on, hit me.
It is as real as it gets. Heart rate's elevated, their respiratory rate's elevated, their adrenaline is dumping into their blood. They are scared and amped up.
I got a gun! Back up!
Get out of my house!
I'm Tyler Russell, and I live in New Orleans, Louisiana. I hunted when I was a little boy, and I like to go shoot some skeet and just shoot for fun. I've never had a training course, so hopefully I learned some stuff today.
Well, since Tyler volunteered for this one, we definitely conjured up a very good scenario.
We're going to simulate somebody's trying to break into his car and that person has gained entry into his vehicle.
We're trying to, burglarize the inside of your vehicle, steal your radio, maybe look for some of your personal belongings,
This is probably going to be pretty intense. I have no idea what's going to happen.
He was eager to do this. He has very minimal amount of training. He's seen it from behind the camera and hasn't really been exposed to it.
All right, so basically the scenario is we're leaving work, you walk into your car.
Being in the field is going to be a lot different than being behind a camera, so we'll see what happens.
Play it for what it is.
Okay.
Everything you see is in play.
Go in my car.
Other than the people wearing yellow jackets.
Okay.
Everything else is in play.
So you're not real?
I'm not here.
When you have crimes against property, you normally have lookouts and getaway cars and stuff like that.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. I'm pretty nervous, Don't know what's going to happen. Hoping for the best. Got my fingers crossed. And
Well, the ideal thing to happen is for Tyler to recognize that it's a property crime and that there is no reason for us to insert ourselves into that situation at all. Start calling the police, giving best description he can, basically making himself the best witness he can make himself. Anything that we have that is property related can be replaced.
I'm going to go out there and try not to make a fool of myself.
What'll be interesting with this is if Tyler gets fixated on the individual that's inside the car and is not situationally aware, he's probably going to be confronted with somebody else.
Production crew and other personnel in yellow vests are considered invisible by role players.
He said, I'm getting off work, going to my car. So I'm thinking, okay, normal day. I'm just going to go outside, breathe the fresh air. And as I'm going, I see that my passenger side door is kind of kicked open a little bit. And that's not something I would do.
As he moves to a better angle, Tyler can see that there is someone in the passenger seat of his vehicle.
Somebody in my car.
He felt like he wanted to go up there to see, but he kind of just retreated back around.
Okay, I'm going to call the police because there's somebody in my car.
And I'm like, well, he's just going to stay here, and that's going to kind of end the whole scenario. And I was like, go ahead. Awesome. And I think the longer he sat there, he's like, that guy's stealing my stuff. And then he just said, I got to go stop this.
Because of human nature, and it's hard for us to resist, he wants to go check on his own property.
I just felt the need that I need to see what's going on before anything's stolen. Why? I don't know.
Wasn't 100% sure that he really wanted to go up there, but like it was calling his name.
I thought if I went around to the driver's side that he wouldn't have, a shot at me. He can barely see me.
A lot of property crimes involve more than one person, a getaway driver, a lookout, something to that effect, and that's what I was playing, was the lookout. I was sitting right behind the car that was next to his vehicle.
When he finally committed to the driver's side, all I could think to myself was, God, this is fixing to get ugly.
Cops, the baddest tactical 1911 on the planet.
If you need a gun, you need XS Sights. They give you an advantage in high-stress, low-light situations. For more information, go to xssights.com. If you need a gun, you need XS Sights.
The desire to protect your personal property is incredibly common for most people because we work so hard to obtain the things that we have.
That human instinct where you want to get involved, especially when something is yours. So it's hard to fight that urge to want to go and protect your stuff.
When we finally committed to the driver's side, all I could think to myself was, God, this is fixing to get ugly.
He never knew I was there, and when I saw him get fixated in on the person inside of his vehicle, I just simply walked up behind him and actually stood there for a few seconds before he turned and looked over his shoulder.
I was really tunneled in on the guy in the passenger side.
And I thought to myself, God, this is fixing to hurt.
Say, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, hey.
We use that old expression, you know, deer in the headlight, and that's what we had. We had a deer in the headlight. He looked back and he was like, uh-oh.
Hey, get back, get back. You better get on out of here, bro. Hey, you get back. You better get on out of here. Get back.
He had literally just kind of boxed himself into a bad spot. He was surrounded by two cars. There was about maybe a 2-foot gap between the front of his car and the fence.
Step back! I'm not playing with you, man. Step back! I'm not playing with you, man.
Because of certain circumstances, and we never sacrificed safety during training, I chose not to go ahead and fire my Simunition rounds at him. And but at that point, he realized that, yeah, it could have been ugly.
Keep walking! Keep walking, bro! In there!
What are you doing in my car?
I steal your radio, dude.
What?
Honestly thought for a minute he was just going to go ahead and make that phone call and just hunker down until we, index the scenario. And he
did extremely well at the beginning, and I wish he would have stayed there for the whole entire scenario. But instead, he had that instinct of, hey, that's my property, and I'm going to go and protect it.
I was in complete control of what I thought of the situation, and you just never know what could happen. There's so many things that could happen you can't even think about, you can't imagine.
We have to recognize is that all of that stuff can be replaced. Yes, it can be replaced through hard work, and yes, it may take a while. It's still not worth the loss of life, the loss of limb, or emotional scars it may make on you to expose yourself to that violent encounter behind a piece of property that ultimately, you can replace.
And it's just better to be safe than sorry.
The one thing I want you to be aware of is that when you drew your gun, you immediately brought it back down here first. The ground's not going to hurt us, but you got two individuals who will. I mean, you felt there was a need to break the gun out because you saw me doing this, right?
Yeah.
So why point it at the ground?
Well, because you didn't have yours out yet, so
it doesn't matter why point yours at the ground, action versus reaction.
That's true.
The only problem is that we're going to be cautious of is that if I do this with my gun, and now you reach out, now you can grab a hold of my gun. Instead of having it here, have it here, but now it's parallel to the ground. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Close quarter confrontation is one of the biggest things. Most adversaries approach their victims, and it's within arm's reach. So we figured that when we went to the range, that would be one of the best things that we could give to Tyler real quick. We're gonna go to the range, work on a little close quarter battle, some techniques that'll help us within that critical distance area, and come back and then put you in another scenario. How does that sound?
Great.
All right.
Yep.
Most people, for whatever reason, they don't understand that you can shoot a weapon from a retention position, a close quarters position. They have a tendency to want to drive the gun all the way out to full extension or to like a Weaver full extension or somewhere way out in front of their face. And you don't always have to shoot from that position.
Since most encounters occur within arm's reach, Louis decided to train Tyler on shooting techniques for close quarter battles, or CQB.
So what we're going to look to do is you're going to draw the gun straight up and you're going to rock it and come close and tight into your body. You're going to have a slight angle so this slide clears your body. So when you're in here, it allows you to fire close, allowing good weapon retention, and your body can have the same natural body mechanics as you would as if you drove the gun straight out.
Tyler was like a sponge. He was hanging on every word Louis was giving him. He was sucking it up, and watching Louis' demonstration. The students have to come in with the willingness to learn, and he demonstrated just that.
First, they worked on the proper grip and technique.
In there and get that. There you go. Much better.
It felt really awkward, and I mean, unless you're trained and you do that multiple times over and over, you're not going to know how to do it.
Once Tyler started feeling more comfortable with the drill, it was time to try it with live fire.
Stand by. Threat. Good. Shooter ready. Stand by. Threat. Good. Shooter you ready? Stand by. Threat. Good.
After about 15 minutes on the range, Louis was able to get Tyler really schooled up because he was like a sponge and he was soaking up everything Louis had to tell him.
Stand by. Threat.
From the students' aspect, he did extremely well, and that's the kind of students we look for.
When the bond between hand and gun feels as true as a perfectly placed shot, it's not by accident, it's by design. M&P, advanced by design.
Nosler Defense ammunition is loaded up front with the bonded performance line of bonded core defense bullets. Professionals trust their next move to Nosler Defense.
First Person Defender, brought to you by XS Sights, Smith & Wesson, Nosler, Crimson Trace, Simunition, and Remington.
Crime occurs everywhere, and a lot of people that don't prepare for it or become victim in worse circumstances instead of somebody who has some type of training.
We're basically going to just set up the same scenario we had. You're leaving work, you're walking to your car.
For the second scenario, the guys decided to mix it up. This time, the second perpetrator will be hiding out in a nearby shed.
Okay.
Are you ready? Any questions?
No.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Walking out, I mean, Tyler was really on edge because he had been to the scenario and he had just come back from the range.
I see a man come out of my car and he runs off. I'm kind of like, okay.
And at that point in time, he became target fixated and he literally locked on him, and when the guy ran off, he just kind of followed him with his eyes. So it gave Benny the time to come up behind him and get on his back with a gun.
You could see his posture change. He locked in, his eyes were on that. He forgot about the situational awareness, and I was able to approach him with my gun drawn and started giving him verbal demands.
Hey, give me your money. Give me your money right now. Give me your money. Hey, give me your money.
You could see his whole body posture was like, oh, I just got caught.
I don't really have an advantage there. He has a drop on me.
Give me that car. Give me that money.
I wanted him to feel that sense of demand by me, and hopefully he started thinking of, okay, one, I can't get in the vehicle, but I'm going to lead him that way because he understood cover and concealment.
So he knew he got caught, but he didn't give up, which is absolutely what we're trying to encourage.
Give me that money.
And they kept asking for the money, give me the money, give me this, give me that. He's like, all right, and he appeared to be compliant. And the whole time, you know, he was making a plan in his head.
Give me that money.
He started picking up his pace at walking, which separated us, gave him a little bit more reactionary gap.
I think if I can get close enough to the car, I can run around and get some cover and possibly draw and shoot back, because he's got his gun out. He's not going to want to play around.
Get in that car. Get in that car right now. Get in that car. Get in that car. Hey!
Tyler did a good job of directing his fire towards Benny. He was able to keep his surrounding, his peripheral vision going on and keep scanning around looking for other threats.
Getting behind the car gave me cover. It gave me a better spot than being completely open, but I still had a guy on each side of me. I landed a couple of hits on my guy on the right, and the guy to the left is popping out too. You know, it's still a bad spot to be in, but it's better than being out in the open.
Index.
Got me in the face. Good job. Good job, buddy. Good job.
All right.
Man, you're crazy. You're always running out of the car.
Although the CQB techniques learned at the range weren't utilized, the brief training that Tyler received was enough to help him prevail in this scenario.
He started thinking tactically, and that's what helped him prevail in that second scenario. One thing I want you to think about too is that I could see you through the window, you could see me, right?
Yeah.
Remember that barriers do deteriorate, and that's the thing we need to be cognizant of, especially with the type of ammo or weapon that's being utilized against us.
Tyler was very receptive and off camera and on camera. He said that, you know, he's seen the value of the training, and he understands that the 15 minutes or the 20 minutes we were able to give him today is just a small piece of a giant overall lifestyle choice.
I think I did pretty well. Before, you know, I was kind of a little newbie, but after that training, you know, it was a different person out there. I learned a lot, and you know, it definitely opens up your mind when you're in these scenarios because you would never think about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and he's made that conscious decision now that he's going to go seek some future training and some further training.
He's got that warrior mindset, and he had the ability to want to survive. So my hat's off to him, and it was an outstanding job by him.